What's the song that immediately makes you think of that scene from the movie that the song is in? Unfortunately for me, the first thing I thought of when I read this question was I've had the time of my life, the final dance scene in Dirty Dancing. It's unfortunate for me because I like neither the song nor the movie, smiley face. Next immediate thought, Bang Bang, My Baby Shot Me Down, the opening credits second scene in Kill Bill. Third thought, not as immediate of a thought as the first two, Without You, the suicide scene in The Rules of Attraction, moving in stereo, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Sweet Emotion, Dazed and Confused. Ooh Child, Boys in the Hood, but could also be Guardians of the Galaxy or Over the Edge for some. It's just such a powerful tune scene in Boys in the Hood. Tubular Bells, The Exorcist. Lay Flores at the end. Come and Get Your Love, Guardians of the Galaxy. Don't You Forget About Me, The Breakfast Club. Bittersweet Symphony, Cruel Intentions. I always associate songs by Bush with the roller coaster scene in Fear, and when I googled the name of the song I learned it wasn't even Bush at all. I think a Bush song was being played while my perfectly innocent first TV crush, who's the boss Alyssa Milano, was being defiled by one of Wahlberg's friends. Can't Take My Eyes Off of You, 10 Things I Hate About You. Come a Little Bit Closer, Guardians of the Galaxy V2. Father and Son, Guardians of the Galaxy V2. Please Call Me Baby, Keeping the Faith. Stop, Drop, Roll the Bad Guys. Day-O, Beetlejuice. Ghost Town, Shaun of the Dead. Every Time by Britney Spears. Britney Spears apparently just revealed in her book that it's about her abortion. But I forever associate the song with Spring Breakers, where the girls of Frank O'Toole go around robbing people. Sweet Emotion by Aerosmith, and the opening scene of Dazed and Confused when they're rolling through the school parking lot in Pickford's GTO Getting High. Power of Love by Huey Lewis in The News, and the scene with Marty McFly on his skateboard on the way to school in BTTF. This just happened today. I was visiting my mother in a dementia care facility, and they were running some oldies on YouTube for them. Can't Take My Eyes Off of You by Frankie Valli came on, and I immediately thought of the bar pool table scene in The Deer Hunter. Sweet Emotion, Aerosmith, which I heard for years before the Starsky Hutch movie came out, but now all I can see in my head is that Torino making that ridiculous jump on the hill right before the credits roll when Sweet Emotion starts. Something in the Way by Nirvana. It helps me relive the entirety of the Batman in a few minutes. Also, Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses. Bobo, I'm Drake and I can sing high like this, I can sing if I ha. Be My Baby by the Ronettes from Dirty Dancing. The whole soundtrack is burned into my brain and each song is associated with its corresponding scene, but just the opening boom, boom boom TSS takes me straight into the opening credits. Not a movie, but the scene in the West Wing episode where Mark Harmon's character gets killed, and Allison Janney's character is sitting on a bench, heartbroken and crying her eyes out. Jeff Buckley's version of Hallelujah. Cat Stevens' If You Want to Sing Out always reminds me of Harold and Maude 1971, 2520 and 2520. Mao, My Hero by Foo Fighters and Varsity Blues. Freebird by Lynyrd Skynyrd and Forrest Gump. There's a lot in that one, that's just my most memorable. You've Lost That Lovin' Feelin' by the Righteous Brothers and Top Gun. Everyone associates American Girl with Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but I can only think of the scene in The Silence of the Lambs where the senator's daughter is singing along right before she gets kidnapped. You Could Be Mine, Guns N' Roses. Terminator 2 as John and his buddy, the absolute legend who bought him enough time to survive, go off to steal some money from someone's bank account before hitting up an arcade. Life is a Highway as the Cars montage. Power of Love will forever make me want to skateboard while holding onto the back of a Jeep. Highway to the Danger Zone will forever bring images of fighter jets. New Slang by the Shins, the Waiting Broom scene from Garden State. Second choice, I will now sell 5 copies of the 3 EPs by the Beta Band. Withdraw the Rain from High Fidelity. It's basically cheating, but I can hear Mozart's Requiem, specifically Confutatis, without hearing him painfully but triumphantly singing Dictated to Salieri on his Mozart's deathbed. I love the scene from The Virgin Suicides when Kristen Dunst's character runs out to kiss one of the boys in time to Crazy on You by Heart. It's just the perfect teenagers in love scene. Goodbye Horses by Q Lazarus and Silence of the Lambs. Do you think they told Q Lazarus what scene they were going to use this song for? I don't think you would have let them use it if you knew. Cannonball by the Breeders. The bass at the beginning of this song always brings me right back to the beginning of A Walk to Remember. Not really a super important or that scene, but Head Over Heels by Tears for Fears and Donnie Darko. Instantly picture Jake Gyllenhaal jumping out the back of a school bus. Not a movie, but Billy Vera and the Beater at this moment always take me back to Family Ties, the dance between Alex and Ellen. Heartbreaking even now, what, 40 years later? Footloose. Kevin Bacon anger dancing in the barn. Edit. I also think of this scene every time Jimmy Pesto starts dancing. Don't stifle my creativity, Tina. In your eyes, say anything. Jump in the line, Beetlejuice. Also spoke Zarathustra. 2001: A Space Odyssey. These boots are made for walking. Full Metal Jacket. Poker Face by Lady Gaga, from the first Percy Jackson movie. I know we as a fandom like to pretend those movies don't exist, but that was a good montage scene, lol. The cars moving in stereo will always remind me of Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I think I can tell you when to pause a VCR based on the rhythm of the song. I had to look it up because I didn't know what it was actually called, but Layla Piano Exit, Derek and the Dominoes is 100 linked to Goodfellas in my mind. When I hear the Immigrant Song, I immediately think of the princess scene from Shrek 3. Even though it's just the first few seconds, it's what I always think of. Supermassive Black Hole with Twilight. Genuinely liked this song, still do, but now that my GF has shown me Twilight, I think of it every time I hear that song. The opening strands of Let's Stay Together by Al Green will always have the image of a band-aid on the back of Marcellus Wallace's neck burned into my mind. Well, he walked up to me and asked me if I wanted to dance. As you make your way through the kitchen to the table. And then he kissed me by the crystals. All the Small Things by Blink-182 at the beginning of Clockstoppers. Edak, how popular that movie ever was, but that song will never not make me think of it. Not a movie, but a SNL skit. Working for the Weekend Loverboy. I will forever think of Patrick Swayze, Chris Farley trying out for the Chippendales. Mirror in the Bathroom, by The English Beat, always makes me think of the hallway fight between John Cusack and Benny Urquidez in Grosse Pointe Blank. Goodbye Horses. I don't even know what the artist is, but I know that goddamn song from Silence of the Lambs. I guess American Girl too, same movie. Sweet Emotion by Aerosmith always makes me think of the intro to Dazed and Confused. Makes me wanna roll up some doobies. Great song, a perfect movie. General Public Tenderness. Clueless. Always brings back the iconic 1990s film, and puts me right back into the audience when Cher throws the bouquet. I first heard The Tide is High in the Lizzie McGuire movie I was 8, and it's still kind of weird to hear it without Lizzie getting ready around it. Moving in stereo, the cars will always forever be synonymous to hot stuff. Phoebe Cates getting out of the pool in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Free ride at the beginning of the Power Rangers movie from about 1999ish with the bad guy Ivan Ooze. My children watch that movie twice a day. Just dropped in to see What Condition My Condition Was In by Kenny Rogers in the first edition, and the gutterball scene in The Big Lebowski. The Righteous Brothers Unchained melody always makes me think of Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore playing with clay and each other in The Ghost. Moving in Stereo by The Cars. Not everyone remembers the name of the song, but everyone remembers Phoebe Cates in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. In Your Eyes, Say Anything. Honorable mention goes to Welcome to the Jungle, which immediately plunges me into a mashup of way too many movies. And Invincible, all the Mahler twins music is done by Run the Jewels. When I hear Chase Me, I immediately think of the prison escape scene. Every Breath You Take with the scene in The Replacements where Falco makes out with the cheerleader while John Madden provides commentary. All-Star Shrek opening scene. I cannot believe I'm the first person to post this. Scrolled all the way to the bottom. We're slipping. Good luck listening to Goodbye Horses by Q Lazarus without imagining Buffalo Bill tucking his junk in and dancing in front of a mirror. See you again in Fast and Furious 7. Every time I hear this thing and see Paul Walker smiling in his car, I get tears in my eyes. R.I.P. Hard. Don't You Forget About Me by Simple Minds reminds me of The Breakfast Club. Oh Yeah by Yellow reminds me of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Time to Say Goodbye and Don't Wanna Miss a Thing immediately make me think of Blades of Glory, and I can never be mad about that. Push It to the Limit by Paul Engelman from Scarface. I always imagine his Posey carrying the duffel bags of cash into the bank. Telephone Line by Electric Light Orchestra immediately reminds me of the apology phone call to Steve Buscemi and Billy Madison. My Baby Takes the Morning Train. It's forever known as the Manchester United theme song in my head because of Eurotrip. Bad Reputation by Freddie Johnston. Final scene of Kicking and Screaming, the Noah Baumbach one, not the Will Ferrell one. Maybe he was drunk and peed in a children's park. For sure she was up close and personal with his penis, by the way. Kashmir from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but only partly because it is definitely not on side 1 of Led Zeppelin 4. Can't Take My Eyes Off You from 10 Things I Hate About You. Baby, I Love You Away in both of the newer Jumanji movies. The X-Files Fight the Future. Walking After You, Foo Fighters. Lucifer by Shiny, makes me think of my favorite scene from the show. and Young, Mike Song. Hello, Drug Dealers. These Days by Nico, and Gwyneth Paltrow's descending the stairs of the bus in slow motion in the Royal Tenenbaums. I Hope That I Don't Fall in Love with You by Tom Waits. Prince and Me. Dancing Barefoot and Closing Down the Bar. I can't hear a moving in stereo without wanting to pantomime stepping out of a pool in a red bikini in slow motion. Hey Baby, Love is Strange. I've had the time of my life. Pretty much the entirety of the Dirty Dancing soundtrack. Ice Baby immediately takes me to that short scene on Step Brothers with the high school impersonation contest. Every time I hear Any Way You Want It by Journey I think of the end credits and bloopers for Charlie's Angels. Singin' in the Rain. I'll let you decide if I'm talking about Singin' in the Rain or A Clockwork Orange. I heard an Eminem song and I immediately thought of that dirty scene in the film. If you know about it you know. Not a movie, but I can't hear How to Save Life by The Fray and not think of Dr. Cox losing it on Scrubs. Battle Flag by Low Fidelity All-Stars. Crazy scene on the old ER television series when Carter gets attacked. Not a movie, but In the Air Tonight, as used in the Miami Vice scene that made the show instantly famous. Shrek, All-Star by Smash Mouth. Just perfect to set up how serious the movie actually is. Hint it's not. I can't hear We No Speak Americano without thinking about that club scene from the In-Betweeners movie. Super Freakin' Little Miss Sunshine. And How It Ends by Devotchka as they chase the van and jump on an LMS. The Crying Game. Weirdly enough, not from the movie, The Crying Game, but the scene from Ace Ventura. Season of the Witch by Donovan. Best use of music over an end credits scene ever. Movie to die for.